People choose whatever they find.
Yeah, I hear you.
So even if you and I never, or you by yourself or with books, got to figure out what all of these things around the circle are about, you could be content knowing there is a map of my inner world that includes the outer world as well, and here's where I think it came from. And then the details are in all the little stuff around it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. Like, I don't know anything about the details, so I mean,
we're going to go there.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All right.
There are, if we're looking at this as Rebecca's life story, as one way we could look at this, there are 5 components. The first one are the 10 original, I'm going to back up, excuse me, the 7 original planets used in astrology. And in astrology, the sun and moon are considered planets, although, of course, astronomically, they are not planets. They're lights in the sky, of course. And the moon a reflection of the sun's light. But there were 7 original planets that one could see with the naked eye. And this is what the old-timers, way, way back, the astrologers in the story of the wise men were looking at. They could see 7 planets.
Oh,
and
wow.
they could decode what those meant. We have to go to Bethlehem.
Oh, wow.
And you know, for when I was growing up, they were always referred to as the Magi or the 3 wise men. But now the translations that are being used in worship services call them astrologers. So that name has gotten some credibility, even among religious circles, which is interesting. Okay, so they would look up and say, oh yeah, there's 7, the sun, the moon, there's Saturn, Jupiter, oh there's Venus, and they're giving us a message. They decoded it. Oh, go to Bethlehem. And so that was the basis of ancient astrology. Then, starting in the 1700s, up until 1933, 3 more outer planets past Saturn were found in the solar system, and they were Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, which has recently been demoted from being a regular planet to a dwarf planet. But the astrologers aren't letting go of Pluto just because it got downsized. Big arguments among astrological and astronomical circles.
Right, I've heard about that, yeah.
And of course, more of the planets that size are being discovered. So anyway, now we work at this point with 10 planets, including the sun and the moon, which aren't planets. And so they represent characters in our inner family. They're archetypes.
Oh.
So that if I say the word Venus, you have an immediate take on what Venus is.
Yeah.
Like what would you say?
A siren. Okay.
Well, then more. Go on.
A goddess. I think of like Eve. I think of
temptress.
Well, yeah, maybe.
And we realize that as feminists, good feminists, we're not going to call Eve a temptress.
Right.
But yes, so that very sensuous side that is represented by Venus.
Right.
And in the spectrum of Venus's qualities astrologically, she goes from lover of beauty, lover of gracious living, lover of the delights of life, to the red hot mama. I mean, the real siren. And so everybody that thinks about their Venus, what is she like for me, will come up with a different picture.
Oh, I see.
Often a dream image has come that just capsulizes what each of these planets are for us.
Really? Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
So
this is really getting me interested in this.
Okay.
You know?
And so the task in understanding astrology for ourselves is to personify each of these 10 basic planets and have a picture of what they are at best. Let me give you another example. Saturn, pictured often by Father Time, sort of endings and old age, can also have the qualities of criticism and fault finding and finger wagging. But there's a positive side to all of them, and this positive side of Saturn is helping us learn how to set limits, boundaries, and which of this doesn't need that's major for everybody. And so if I can personify Saturn as an inner figure, male or female, just because Saturn was named for Greek male doesn't mean we have to keep that energy there, because it's an archetype, so it has different, can have both genders.
Right.
If I can picture a Saturn in my chart that has the qualities of helping me limit and select and choose and weigh carefully what I choose, those good things, that's very different from the critical Saturn that I grew up with, not even calling it Saturn. You know, you can't do this right, you're wrong, and so on. So to personify the planets is step one. And on your chart, the planets are the blue little marks that are in the outer rim of the inner circle. And next to each planet, it has another squiggle. They're called glyphs. Another, like hieroglyph.
Oh, right.
It has a glyph that will tell you what sign that planet is in. The signs are about how the planets are dressed, what they wear, how they act, what their personality is. So they add specificity to what we're learning about such and such a planet in our chart. So what would we like to look at? Let's stay with Venus, because we started talking about your Venus. On your chart, the glyph for Venus is, it looks like a mirror right over here. You see it? It's a circle on top of a cross. There we go.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the little squiggles next to it tell us that your Venus is at the sign of Capricorn. That's that Y-shaped glyph. Excuse me, at 25 degrees. Now, Venus in Capricorn, which is a zodiac sign, it's pictured by the mountain goat. But his tail is a fish tail, which is down in the water. So it's a sign that's about unifying opposites.
Right.
And so if you have your Venus energy, and we're going to make it positive Venus energy, she's beautiful, she's artistic, she's not a seductress on the prowl, then your Venus is sort of garbed in Capricorn energy, that helps her bring opposites together, make something beautiful out of her work. Capricorn goes with work often. And so you can see now each of the planets has its own nature, and then the signs have their quality. Am I going too fast?
Well, and something you don't know is that's exactly what's happened over the last week. I was able to put together two very opposite ways of painting that I had been asking for a long time. Isn't that bizarre?
Synchronicity.
I know. Okay, I didn't want to stop you, but I just went like, whoa.
Yes.
And to speak of it as, the Venus, I mean, I never would have, in a million years occurred to me. But the synchronicity is hilarious,
And your chart says, you're good at that. And you have the energy. If your Venus was in another sign of the zodiac, remember the zodiac signs are like Gemini, Taurus, Leo, Cancer, the 12 signs. And by the way, in our course that I've referred to online, it's free. And if you'll go to Center for Sacred Psychology.org, and on the homepage you'll see Spiritual Astrology course. All these things are explained in depth.
Oh, okay, because I need to go back and read that really.
It would help.
I will.
We wrote it for beginners.
Right, right. Because otherwise it looks like Greek or...
It is.
Or...
Literally. But
Okay.
even if you didn't understand it, you might put this up, frame it, put it up somewhere and say, I don't know what it means, but I have a map of my soul. And that in itself to me is very satisfying. Okay, so let's see. The planets, we're looking at this as your story. The planets represent who? They're the archetypal energy, the characters.
Planets? Wait, say that again?
The characters in the story of your life.
Are planets?
The planets stand for those.
Okay.
In your inner family.
Yeah.
So they're the who.
Okay.
With the cast of characters.
Okay.
The signs here, Venus is in Capricorn, represent the how. How does your Venus act? How is her nature?
Okay. Okay. Okay.
If your Venus was in Pisces, she might be a dreamy Venus that just wanted to put ribbons in her hair and lie in a field and smell flowers.
And I'm not that kind of person. I wish I was, but I'm not.
You might not get anything done either.
Oh, that's so funny.
Okay, and it sounds complicated.
So it has some resonance already.
All right.
Just from what what you're saying.
Okay, now there's 3 other ingredients in the chart. We've done planets, who represent the characters in your story, the who. Signs of the zodiac, which represent the how. How do these characters dress? How do they...
By dress, do you mean what? How do they act, sir?
Yes.
Or
yes.
But dress is how you see it on the chart? Is that? I don't know. I'm confused a little bit.
How they manifest. Is that maybe...
Oh, okay. Like what costume are they wearing, sort of?
But that's a good way... That's the way the old-timers back in the 5th century pictured it. They would have Mars, who's a soldier, dressed with his sword out and armor. They would have Venus in a diaphanous gown floating around. But also the way we present, if you like